This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is your perfect place to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Hello, welcome back to TGTV. More specifically, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, of course, where else other than YouTube Square. Today I'm with a very exciting car, the first Chevrolet Corvette Stingray C8 in the UK. It is literally the first one in the UK and is over there behind me, ready for my perusal and a little drive. Now then, before we start shouting in the comments, start shouting, it's an American car, it's terrible, I don't want to see it, it's going to drive badly, I know all about American cars, they're rubbish. This actually is not rubbish. There's a lot of distinct differences between this Chevrolet Corvette and the other Chevrolet Corvettes that have been out in the past. So we're going to go around that, and we're actually going to talk through why this may well finally be a threat to its European rivals, and how on earth you can get hold of one of these, because Clive Sutton, the company that brought this car along and where you can actually buy one from, have had hundreds and hundreds of people trying to get hold of one of these. So a hugely oversubscribed car. So we're going to get into all of that and all the nonsense and how the pricing scheme works and what sort of value for money this thing actually represents. So without further ado, let's get over there and let's get on with the video. You'll notice also I am here in this. There is a video coming on that as well. This has just been dropped off at my residence with Mahmood in it. So there's a video coming on that. Interestingly, the same price as this car. Here we go then. Here it is. I do apologise, there's a bit of dust underneath my lens that I really can't get rid of. I've ordered a new camera, so if you've seen that knocking around, I do apologise for that. Here we go then. Here is the Chevrolet Corvette C8 Stingray, or whatever order it is in. Now these were actually originally supposed to be coming out in 2021, but as you all know, we are in 2020 and the first one has hit the roads here in the UK. If you go into Clive Sutton, say, oi, I'll have one of these, they actually do it a little bit differently. You cannot spec one, but you give your kind of colour and spec preferences to them and they will source you a car. The estimated wait for one is 3 to 4 months, so if you are interested in one of these, then get your kind of order in there ASAP. Now then, basics before we go for a little drive. Chevrolet Corvettes of old have always had their engine in the front. The weight bias has always been about 50-50. It's always been a little bit light over the rear wheels. There's been far too much power going to the back wheels. They would actually even have a thing on the dash that would tell you how much rear wheel slip they got, and they just didn't get their power down at all. You need a 700 odd brake and they would just squirm all over the place and you would crash them. They would just crash. They didn't grip properly. A lot of fun, but this car has actually changed that. So for the first time ever, we've actually got a mid-engined Corvette. So the engine is actually in here and the weight bias is 60% toward the back. It is still rear wheel drive. It has still got a stonking big V8 in there. It's a 6.2 litre V8 punting out about 490 brake horsepower. 0 to 60 though, because it gets its power down, it's actually sub 3 seconds. So for 490 brake horsepower, sub 3 seconds to 60 with a big old V8 in the back, it's no mean feat. That's actually very, very, very impressive. This particular car we're looking at now is actually optioned with the Z51 pack, which gives you the wing and it will give you sports exhaust as well, giving you an extra 5 brake horsepower, and I think there's some other jazz you get with the Z51 pack, but it makes it look a little bit more jazzy. Other options then, this car does and does not have. It does have a carbon roof, and that actually comes off as well. That goes into the back underneath here, and we'll get into that in a second. You can option carbon all around it. So anyway, anything here that's gloss black there, you can actually get that in carbon as well. That amounts to about $25,000–$30,000 in carbon if you do absolutely everything, and probably get carbon wing, carbon diffuser, and all the rest of it as well. But I think for the first time ever, the design language is actually very European as well. It's got a lot of presence on the road, certainly a lot more so than that over there. Do you mind? Now, starting price for one of these is about 90k. As I say, you can load them up to about 130k with all the options, but the starting price is 90k. Now in the US, they actually MRSP or whatever it is, actually is about 60,000. But once they've come over to here, with duty and import tax and VAT and all the other things that government tries to scrounge money out of, they actually arrive at about 90k for a base model. So we've got the key here, the middle button there, you press it twice, the car will actually start, and you've got the front and rear boot. So we'll just do this. This actually opens on the front here. That's your boot space, but interestingly as well, there is another button underneath there as well, for if you forget your key or something, don't quite know why. But you have storage in the front there. That is equivocal to a 911, a 488 or anything like that. So no grievances there, and that clicks down very normally. It's all feeling very European at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing silly and American just yet. And we've also got this flap at the back as well, which will show you a couple of things. Obviously you've got the engine in there, with the optional carbon fibre appearance braces or whatever they call it, but that is actually an option to get those cladded in carbon there, and you can see the 6.2 litre 490 brake horsepower V8 sat in there, mid-engine, right behind your head over there. And you'll notice this white thing here. This is actually the roof. You get a spare roof. If you option the carbon one, you actually get a spare normal roof in there as well, and that's got the white protective plastic on there from delivery. But if you unclip that, you can shove it in there, or you can just take this out, leave it in your storage unit at home, and you get a second boot as well. But there's a huge amount of space in there. That's ludicrous. So yes, very interesting indeed. Interesting that when you spec something in carbon, you actually get the non-carbon version with it as well. Very interesting from Chevrolet there. Don't think they really need to do that. They could save some money on that. Other kind of cool little features, you can actually see in the window here, you can see upside down kind of Chevrolet logos all in there, which is very nice little touches. And you've even got that camera in the middle up there, which acts as your rear view mirror. And actually the rear view mirror inside the car is a little LED screen, and it's all operated from that as well. And you've also got reversing camera under there as well. So lots of kind of hidden tech. Let's get inside then, have a little look. Door handles hidden under here. Now, first impressions then coming in here. Again, I keep saying European, and I don't mean this in a kind of slagging off American cars or anything like that. I just mean it's a good thing. It's good. Everything, I've had a little rummage around in here already. Everything is very nicely finished. It's not overdone. Everything's where you'd kind of expect it to be. And this kind of central partition here is quite Roma-esque, may I say. The buttons all lining along there. Everything's very well stitched. You've got Bose audio in there. You've got carbon fibre, bits of aluminium. You've got carbon fibre in the seats there. You've got more audio there. You can see through into the engine bay there. It's all looking very, very positive and very good. You've got a flat bottom steering wheel there, and flat top in fact as well, with a 12 o'clock marker stitched in kind of a tan as well. Carbon absolutely everywhere. It's all going very well so far. I'm very, very impressed. And as I say, this car is the first one in the UK. It's definitely the first one I've seen. Jumping out of here quickly then, we'll just go around the rest of the exterior of the car. These are the wheels, very nice wheel design. Presumably you can option different ones, but when you option the Z51 pack, you actually also get it denoted on the calipers there. Big fan of the black calipers. Really not a huge fan of coloured calipers. One thing that does bug me about this car though, one thing that does bug me, and I'm sure this will come as no surprise, this plinth that comes on it. I'm sure when you kind of option one of these, or kind of ask for one of these, or order it, you can option it without this plinth. There must be a more elegant way of having a plate on the front, I suspect. Maybe a sticker up there, something like that. I think that does ruin the front. However, that is not actually a design feature of the car. That is just something that dealers have to put on them. But I'm sure you could ask for one without that. I mean, look at that bit of plastic. That's hell. It just completely ruins the whole point of that kind of sharp front angle, having a big square on there. At least have a line, maybe. I don't know. Again, these are bits that I'm sure you can option in carbon, but who really cares? Now, you'll also be shouting at this point, it's a left-hand drive. There were rumours that these cars were going to come in right-hand drive, and indeed that may still happen, but that will be looking to be 2022 at the absolute earliest, if indeed it ever happens. There has been no confirmation on that at any point. Oi oi, churning. There's been no confirmation on that and indeed COVID may well have put pay to that. So these may be the only versions you'll ever be able to get. Pricing then, as I said before, here in the UK between 90 and about 130 grand depending on the trim options, and you can actually get level 1, 2 or 3. I believe level 1 is the kind of highest option car with absolutely everything on it, and level 3 is kind of more towards the base car. I think it's like LT3, LT1, LV, whatever it is. Anyway, 1, 2 and 3, and that will all be explained by the guys at Clive Sutton should you come to order one of these. They do of course come in other colours. I wouldn't choose red. I don't like red cars. I think there must be some bovine genes in me because I don't like red things or cars. But I do admit though, this does look rather well for it. It's a very nicely designed car. I do enjoy this. Right, little waffle over then. Let's go for a little drive. Let's hear what she sounds like. Let's go for a little spin. Right then. Jumping in. This is Luke, by the way.
Hi, how you doing?
Mahmood is here, but he gets so abused on my channel that he's hiding over there. So this is Luke from Clive Sutton anyway. Luke knows more about this car than me, which is not difficult. But I've actually just found a door button here. It's kind of like a button instead of a handle.
Yeah, a little bit hidden.
Very cool. Right, let's fire up then. Everything in here is kind of aluminium and like really nicely finished. I'm kind of amazed. I'm not the biggest, I'm not that familiar with American cars.
Yep.
All the kind of, American cars do get a bit of jip every now and again from people that kind of aren't that seasoned with them, but I'm actually amazed. Anyway, let's fire up.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got from the past this reputation of having their little plasticky dashes, but I mean, with this, obviously everything full leather trimmed, carbon fibre pretty much everywhere you look. Nice Alcantara and suede finishes on steering wheel and headlining. So, you know, from the years gone by where it was sort of these cheap American imports, like this is very much now European sort of standard and spec of what you'd expect. Bit of audio.
Hi-fi's good.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough to get me on copyright, so we're all right with that. One thing I've noticed, the rear view mirror here is unbelievable. So that's the camera that's on the outside actually.
Super smart, yeah. So if you see it underneath here, you can flick it, so you can have traditional mirrors normal, or you can bring it up forward and then you get an LED display from that rear camera. And then yeah, the other bits as well on the convertible part, which we can potentially do after if you want, is all manual. So it's underneath here and there, and then back here, and that clips that whole bit off.
Very cool. So it's I'm actually very, very impressed. Right, driving wise then, we're not going to go sideways, we're on YouTube Square. It's a 20-mile-an-hour zone, so you're safe.
Yep, feel safe.
I'm safe.
Good.
You're getting a phone call as well.
Yeah, let's turn that off.
I was going to say, you do not want me to pick that up. I will destroy your business in minutes. Right, let's put it in drive then. Here we go then. Are you nervous?
No, I feel absolutely fine. Should I be nervous?
Quite possibly. That's my mood. Unfortunately, you do have to come back and get him at some point, annoyingly. So it feels very compliant. It feels like, well, just a normal car. It feels very comfortable. And this presumably is in kind of drive mode, kind of normal. Are there different drive settings? Can you put it in like race or whatever?
Yeah, there certainly are. So you can configure, there's a mode called My Mode, which is your normal driving that we're in now. If you look on your steering wheel, just on the left-hand side, there's the Z button. So this Z button you can actually configure. So that is the suspension feel, steering wheel feel, exhaust sound. And if you want to press that, then that goes into that mode.
The dash has got quite aggressive. There's lots of red. So it does feel very kind of, oh, you got a G-force meter.
Yeah.
Perfect, exactly what you need around Belgrave Square. If you're using that around here, then yeah, don't basically.
Yeah, don't.
Fine, good. Is there like yobbish exhaust buttons or anything like that, or does that kind of come with the...
So it comes with this Z button that you can configure, but underneath this trim section here, these are your normal driving modes. So you can turn into track and into sport, and then that also changes that digital gauge cluster in front of you, just to become even more evil looking. So you go into track mode there.
Oh yeah.
And it gives you like those indicator blips of when it advises to change gear.
And the steering's got heavier as well. For sure. So when I first got in it just felt like, again, my instant comparison is just a Golf. The steering's very light, felt very supple, but now the steering's got heavy, it feels a bit more direct.
There's a few nice things you can do. So in this glove box there is an SD card slot. Now on this unit, and we can obviously do a clip of it afterwards, there is a thing called PDR, which is Performance Data Recorder. Now apart from being able to set it up to record you on a track so that you can obviously see different apexes or different braking zones, you can also set it up just to run while you're driving normally. So it's like, you know, for insurance when you have those front-facing cameras. And haven't actually seen a manufacturer do that as a feature yet.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Very good. Saves you having to put like a horrible dash cam in or whatever it is.
For sure. And then in this console behind us, there's a few other nice bits. I mean, everything is super, super compact, so there's things put in places where they wouldn't usually be. So behind us here, there is a wireless charger dock, which is just in this console.
Oh, cash.
There is a cigarette lighter, but because everything in this unit is so tight, it's actually underneath here, which is a bit of a bizarre place for it, but
we don't need that. Keep the comments PG.
Yeah.
It's a family channel.
Yeah.
I'm not looking anyway.
Just a nice view around us.
It's very nice scenery around Belgrade Square. There you go. It does sound nice as well. Well, it would do. 6.2 litre V8, did I get that bit right?
Yeah, 6.2 litre V8.
Look at me. 490 something brake horsepower?
Yeah, so it's 490 in the normal car. When you spec the Z51 package, you get the performance exhaust and a few other nice bits, and that gives you 5 extra brake horsepower. So this, as spec'd, is 495, but you get a few clever, tricky bits like electronic limited rear diff slip, so you can actually keep the power down. Whereas previous Corvettes, you put your foot down and you very easily are going to be doing a spin on yourself.
Yeah, I did touch on that. I didn't want to be too rude. I've never actually even driven a Corvette before. Not once. Don't think I've ever driven an American car before, to be honest with you.
I mean, all of them now are going through this process of changing from the traditional manual gearboxes to this, which is a dual clutch gearbox.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is the gearbox in this? Is it 7-speed?
8-speed.
8-speed.
Yeah, 8-speed dual clutch.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it felt very smooth. Again, American cars, they've kind of come in for flat. The automatic gearboxes in them have come under fire before.
For sure.
So this is kind of bucking every single criticism that you could possibly try and throw at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the most highly anticipated car release. One, because of its price point, but two, because of the actual performance and feel that you get for it.
Yeah. I'm very, very, very pleasantly surprised. Yeah, the gearbox works well. You could be in pretty much, I keep saying European cars as if that's the benchmark, but it kind of almost is, you know, like, and we were speaking before we started filming, you were saying you've been kind of harassed about this car, basically, you've had a lot of interest.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been bonkers. I mean, we've had over 400 expressions of interest.
Wow.
I think partly due to the numbers that you get behind the car, but I think also the actual supply of them is so limited. So like most manufacturing factories, it was closed for the best part of 4 months due to COVID.
Yeah.
Actually getting one of these now is almost impossible. We've got this one that is available for sale, and it will be releasable in a few months, and then we've got most of our orders which are now pushed into 2021. But huge anticipation for it. One, because of the sort of performance figures you get for it and the quality, but two, when you compare that price point to what you'd be paying, in the UK for some of our sort of supercars here, it's very reasonably priced.
Yeah, and so kind of competitors for, so let's say you kind of got a model, what would this one be spec'd at, sort of?
So yeah, so this fully loaded is 132. Entry level starts at around 90.
What's the car we're sat in? How much would you say that one be?
So this is 132. So this has got these 3LT, the Z51, front lift, engine appearance pack, and yeah, it's very comprehensively spec'd.
So around that price point, what are you getting? You in R8 for that? 10 a penny. Just an Audi. Good car though, good car. Won't slag it off. What else have you got? I mean, you've got the new F-Type.
Yep.
Which we've got here. Which I'll give my thoughts on another time. That's what, 100 and something. I mean, I think they go to about 120. It's an interesting car for that price bracket and very rare. And kind of when you want to spend that kind of money on a car, exclusivity is high on your list. And I suspect the residuals won't be too bad if there's not too many of them.
Well, certainly for the first few years. I mean, actually getting them is very, very challenging. Obviously, the used car market for them is going to be incredibly limited. So yeah, certainly for the first few years are going to be very good news.
So then, as I touched on at the beginning of this video is brought to you with Squarespace. If you don't know about Squarespace by now, and you should do because it's featured on enough of my videos, Squarespace is basically the perfect place to develop your own beautiful website. Whether that's to indulge a passion or whether or not that's to start a business, Squarespace is your perfect place to do it. And there are a number of features which allow you to do this efficiently and with great effectiveness. So if you have been waiting to set up that business or set up that website, now is the perfect time. And there's an amazing special offer with this video too, so make sure you get involved in that, and of course the links will be below. So one of the features that enable people to launch their website and business with ease is what I like to call their backloading feature. You can actually store content in the background. If you have like an afternoon off and you're able to do a load of work in the background, you can store that on the website, and then Squarespace's tools will allow you to time release that out onto your site. There are blogging tools on there that link into your social media too, so it will feed through all your social posts onto the website too, and that all fully integrates. There are really cool analytics tools on there as well, so you can monitor who's hitting your site, when they're hitting your site, what their demographic is, what their gender is, how long they're on there for, what the popular pages are, the bounce rate, all that kind of stuff to really drill down and make sure your site is really, really effective. Another really key thing that you're able to build into your site with Squarespace is a subscription tool. Subscriptions are a really, really great way to build value in your business and generate recurring income. We do this with one of my businesses, Corvette Chief Notify, and that is on a monthly basis. It's really easy to set up, and Squarespace's tools take you straight through that all. One of the other tools that's really, really good with Squarespace as well is email campaigns. Now, I know many of you will receive marketing emails all the time, but there's a reason why companies do that. It's because it works, and the Squarespace enables you to build efficient, effective email campaigns too. You can build that in, target people around releases. Certainly we do that again with Corvette Chief Notify around specific releases that come out. We do it with LD&M around payday. We put special codes out and all the rest of it. Really, really important part of running an online business. If this sounds up your street and you're ready to get going with your online store or your website, make sure you hit the link below for a free trial right now, and when you are ready to get going, there is an exclusive discount as well. So make sure you hit that link. It is a limited time offer. Get in the mix and keep me posted with what you will create. Yeah, decent. I'm very impressed. My first foray into kind of American-based motoring. I'm very, very impressed indeed. So thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I appreciate that. And without incident, I mean, there's still time for me to have the door taken off by a lorry, but
yeah.
No, thank you so much for your time. I won't spud you or any of that stuff because, you know, COVID police will get us. But yeah, nice one. If you want to inquire about one of these, you want to go through spec levels or whatever it is, or want more detail, do give Luke a shout at Clive Sutton. I'll leave all the details below, and you can go harass him at will. Don't harass him, be nice. They won't. They're a good bunch.
Good.
You'll be right. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe, and I'll leave also Clive Sutton's social media details below as well, because they're constantly updating their Instagram and all the rest of it with the new stock coming in and what's going on. So make sure you go and give them a follow as well. I think that's about it. Any final words?
No, final words. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Cheers. See you later, guys.